everyone, welcome back to my channel. Nice to meet you. My name is Asia. Today we're gonna talk about plane. Today we're gonna talk about all the books I've read this summer. I already made a video with all the books I've read in the month of June. If you want to go and check it out, I'll put it there. And now we're gonna talk about all the books I've read in July and August. I tend to read a little bit less in summer than winter or autumn because obviously I'm out more so this is not as many books as my usual, but it is still a good amount. So let's go in order. The first book that I read in July was on my Kindle. First of all, let's appreciate, I love the back of my Kindle at the moment, and it was Charming Like Us. And Charming Like Us is part of the Like Us series. You've heard me talk about the series so much, you must be sick of me, but in case you missed it, it's the spin-off of the Addicted / Callaway Sister series, and it's about their kids. Really, this book was not about any kid. It was about the bodyguard of one of the kids, and they're not kids, they're like in their 20s. they're grown-ups. It's a romance book about Charlie's bodyguard, so Charlie Cobalt bodyguard, who's Oscar Oliveira, and Jack Hyland. And Jack Hyland is like the producer of We Are Callaway, which is the reality show that all of these people are in. That's why they're famous. It's like the Kardashians, right? Keeping Up with the Kardashians, We Are Callaway. That's literally that. It talks about sexuality a lot because Jack was convinced he was straight for the longest time. There's a lot of talking and understanding and meeting in the middle. Every single one of the Like Us series, they're just quick to read. They're so easy and so fun to read. Like, you're just in this world that I love so much. It's so nostalgic because I've read about their parents, and I've read so many books in this universe at this point that it just feels like I'm going back home when I read them. It was good. It was just, in my opinion, way too long. A romance book shouldn't be that long. It felt a bit too long. At the end, I thought it was dragging. I thought some chapters could have been cut. The thing that I loved the most about this book was not about the love story. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was how much Charlie was in it. Charlie is the 22-year-old that Oscar bodyguards. I love Charlie so much. He's such a broken soul. Obviously a billionaire, privileged guy with issues. He loves to make people hate him so he can't disappoint them, kind of vibe. And I can't wait to have a book just about him. I want to be in his brain so bad. I want to know what's going on in there because I know there's a lot going on. It's a very good book, but it was just too long for me. It dragged a bit too much. I don't think it was the best one out of the series, for sure. I gave it 3.75, which is almost a 4, but you know, if it was shorter, it would have been. Next book I read was on my Kindle as well, was Big Swiss. I hated this book. I hated it with everything in me. I'm not gonna lie. This was my book club book of July. I didn't like it. It was not for me. The concept of the book was great. The execution, it wasn't for me. Another one of my friends enjoyed it very much. I didn't, and another one of my friends really didn't. So I think it really depends, this book. You could love it or you could hate it. It was just not for me. I don't think I was the target audience for it. So it talks about this woman in her 40s that she transcribes session of sex therapy that, there's a sex therapist. He has many clients and she's the one transcribing them. So she hears them and she types them out. And she gets obsessed with one of the clients. She gets obsessed with this woman that she calls Big Swiss because she's from Switzerland. She gets obsessed with her. She doesn't even know what she looks like. She comes up with a whole with a whole idea of what she could look like, what she likes, and then she listens to her therapy sessions, which, first of all, you shouldn't do. But it's intriguing as a concept. It's very intriguing. But I really didn't like her writing style. Jen Began. I just hated every single character in it. And I think for me, I need to love a character to love a book. I don't actually really care about the plot as much as I care about the character. I need to care about the character. I need to love them. I need to want the best for them. Or this one, I was emotionally detached from all the characters. especially the main character, like I really didn't like her. She gave me horrible vibes, and I didn't like her housemate. I hated literally everyone. I hated Big Swiss. So yeah, and in the end they meet, and then Big Swiss finds out that she's been hearing her therapy sessions this whole time, and it's a bit weird. It's like very weird women vibes. They get into a relationship, and then I just felt uncomfortable 80% of the time reading it. I just really didn't like it. But again, I really feel like this is one of those books that some people will really enjoy and some people just won't. And I just didn't. It was just not for me. It was not my cup of tea. It was a bit too weird. I didn't like it. I give it 1 star, and I never give 1 star to a book. Like, even if I hate a book, I really don't like it, I give it 2 stars. I give 1 star to this book. The next book is much better for me. It's Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillick. I absolutely adored this book. I loved it so much. This is the second book in a duology, and the duology is called the Shepherd King duology, and the first book is called One Dark Window. Let me grab it actually. It's this one. If you've seen this one, then this is the second book. First of all, can we appreciate the covers? They are just stunning, and oh, I just love them so much. But this book is like a gothic fantasy book, and it talks about this girl called Elspeth, and Elspeth has a monster inside of her head. She's been like kind of possessed. She's not possessed because she's still there, but in her brain she can feel this creature, and sometimes he takes over, sometimes he talks to her, and the conversation between her and the monster are incredible. I love it so much. And there's something happening in the kingdom, and she's helping Raven, who is the main guard of the king, to collect all of these cards. So in this book, they're trying to find the 12th card in the deck of the Providence cards, which are magical cards, and they need the last one. So this is like them trying to find it and get it, and they use the help of the monster inside of her head. I can't tell you what happened at the end of the first book, but there was a huge cliffhanger at the end of the first book. So whatever happens, the repercussion of it are happening in this. I can't tell you much because I don't want to spoil the first book, but I really love it. The romance in the first book was great, but the second book, my god, is so much better because there's another couple that comes out of nowhere that you do not expect, and they took over my existence. In this book, there was the point of view of Elm, and he made the book for me. He made it so much better. I love him so much. He's one of my favorite characters I've read about. I vlogged this, reading this book. The series I do on this channel that is like finishing series I'm in the middle of, I'll put it there if you want to go and have a look. I absolutely adored it. I give it 4.75. The plot was great. The characters were amazing. The writing style, poetic, incredible. Like I strongly recommend reading this duology. If you like gothic, magical, fantasy books, this is like the perfect duology. And I love a duology. I love when it's 1, 2, finished. And the end was so nice, because sometimes when you read a series and the last book is like doesn't hit as hard, this was the perfect ending. I even felt bad by the end about someone that I hated the whole time. Actually, by the end I was like, actually, I liked you so much. I'm gonna miss you. It was great. It's a 4.75 stars. Incredible. Strongly recommend. And Elm Rowan, the man that you are. Next book that I read that I vlogged as well in the same video is Reckless by Lauren Roberts. I was about to say Reckless by Elsie Silver. Nope, Lauren Roberts. Now, I was excited for this book because I really enjoyed the first one. The first one is called Powerless. But then I read Powerful and I didn't love Powerful. I thought it was okay. And this one as well, I thought it was okay. I think I gave it 3.5 or 3.75. I give it 3.75. It's okay. I just thought it was very repetitive the whole time. The same exact conversation happened, I would say, 10 times between the two main characters. It's a romantasy, but it's heavy on the romance and really not much fantasy going on. The whole thing, like the hunter and the hunted. I know, very unpopular opinion, I love Kit. I love the brother. I love him so fucking much, and every time there was a chapter from his point of view, I was happy. And in this book we had kids chapters. They were very short. Oh, first of all, can we appreciate the sprayed edges for a second? They were very short. They were very quick, the kids' point of views, but I really enjoyed them. And the final chapter, the final page of this book actually is what made me give it 3.75 instead of 3.5, because I really enjoyed the last page. Really enjoyed it. Obviously I'm not going to tell you what happens. If you like an easy romantic book, this is it. It just didn't have much depth to it. It was just very repetitive. The same thing kind of happened over and over again. And everyone agrees with my opinion. Literally every single one of the reviews would say the same thing. So I hope the next one is going to be the best one, which is called Fearless, which, as a Taylor Swift fan, I agree. I'm excited for that because I will definitely be reading it because the ending was fun. The ending was I really enjoyed. And I know it's a very unpopular opinion, the kid thing, but I love that man. So next book I read, you've seen me talk about it because I made a whole video about it. It's Manacled by Youuuu. Now, if you don't know what Manacled is, it's a fan fiction. It's a Draco Malfoy fan fiction. It's a fan fiction between Hermione Granger and Draco Malfoy. It's one of the most famous fan fiction of all time. And I've kept seeing it on my For You page so much. And I was like, you know what? I want to see what this is all about. And I read it and I enjoyed it. It was very dark. Check every single trigger warning in the world because they're all there. It was very heavy. It was very dark and very sad. The main character was just, obviously, Hermione was so sad. It's like Harry Potter and Handmaid's Tale combined. Hermione is a war prisoner and she is gonna be used in a program to repopulate the world, so she's gonna be used as a surrogate. And obviously that is so sad. Every single one of her friends and family has died in the war, and she has sold to Draco Malfoy's household. Draco is married and has a wife, and he's gonna use her to make her pregnant. Obviously that is against her will, and she's a prisoner. She can't use her magic. She can't do whatever she wants. At the same time, she has memories in her brain locked out. A good couple of years of her existence she doesn't remember. Draco's job is to get to it and find out. Then you find out what happened in those 2 years and you get all the flashbacks. It's a very long fan fiction. I'm pretty sure it's like, if you printed it out, it'd be 2,000 pages. It's crazy. So that took me a while. That's why I haven't read as much, because that took me a while. I really enjoyed it. For being a fan fiction, it was amazing writing, incredible. And actually, it will be published next year. But for a book, it would have been way too long. Definitely too long. Like, that was too long. But I'm sure they're gonna cut it out before next year when it comes out. And I'm definitely gonna read it. It's gonna be called The Alchemist, and I'm actually definitely gonna read it when it comes out as a book, because I'm really interested how they're gonna make that work, because obviously they can't mention Harry Potter and Hogwarts and Hermione and Draco, so I'm excited to see how that works out. It's a lot of like sorrow and love and danger and war and sadness and death all collided into one very long book. But some people just say that's the best thing they've ever read. It's the best piece of literature they've ever read. I don't think that was for me. I don't think that was the best thing I've ever read. I gave it 3.75/4 stars because I couldn't decide. I still don't know. I think it'd be close to 4 stars. It was a lot. It was so much. And you just get so wrapped up into it and you care so much. And so I would actually recommend reading it. And then last but not least, it's Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I really want to read Yours Truly and Just for the Summer. And this is like the first in that trilogy. So I wanted to read this first. And I enjoyed it. I don't think it was incredible, but I really enjoyed her writing style. It kind of reminded me of Emily Henry. You know when you read and it's so easy and it just goes very quick. But I just didn't love the couple that much because they got together so quick. It was an insta love kind of thing. And they got together very quickly. It started with a one-night stand, but then they never stopped being together. There was the classic third act breakup, which I kind of dislike. Our main character is Alexis. She is a 37-year-old ER doctor, and Daniel is a 28-year-old carpenter. They almost have a decade between them, and she's the older one. And they live in two completely different worlds. So, you know, part of your world. She is very rich from a very famous family full of surgeons and very important doctors. And he doesn't really have parents. His mom is not the greatest and comes in and out of his life. Lives in a very small town. He doesn't have much money. They live 2 hours apart. So it's all about how to make the relationship work. But I found it kind of boring because they got together so quick. They fell in love so quick. I enjoy a romance book so much more before they get together, because that's my favorite part, is them getting together. Once they get together, it gets boring for me. And they got together so quick that I was kind of like, oh. It was a meh book. It was a 3.5. All right. It was okay. But I really enjoyed the writing style, so I'm excited to read Yours Truly and Just for the Summer, because everyone loves those two. And I think Yours Truly is about Brianna, and I liked her in this book, so I'm excited for that. So this is it. These are the books that I read in the month of July and August. Thank you so much for watching. I love you very much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to see you again. Please don't forget. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Ciao!